Okay, hello everybody and welcome to this video. This is Kung Fu Stretch Workout M. Now, in this video, I don't speak to the camera, to you guys, and there's no music included. I decided to keep this raw, basically. Let me just say one thing very quickly. I'm just adding in a little bit of a message here at the beginning of this video to say, please ignore me when I say I will not be talking throughout this video, because in the end I did decide to talk all the way through. I hope you do find some of what I'm saying interesting though. Remember, listening and watching does not mean having to follow. Also, I did decide to include some peaceful music in the background very quietly, so I hope you enjoy this video. Excuse me. Anyway, I've decided to do a little bit of voiceover commentary as we watch a little bit of this together. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm not going to speak throughout the whole workout, but what I will do is I will give little bits of information as you watch this, and I want to thank you if you have sat there and watched it. I don't only record myself working out to please you guys. I don't have an ego. I don't expect this to be extremely interesting for a lot of people out there. However, for some people it might benefit a few people out there. I'm not the strongest or most athletic person, especially at my age too. I'm 43 nearly. That's not too old, but as I say, my health has my physical fitness and state of strength and agility, flexibility, and many areas of my martial arts training have improved as I've gotten older, where others have declined. Other areas have declined, but in general, this is something I've kept up, and I've had to adjust and adapt my training as the years have gone by, and I've been training like this on a daily basis on most days basically. So my workout is geared towards flexibility and of course strength in this. So there are strengthening exercises, although this may not look like a bodybuilding or serious strength routine, like some of these hardcore training videos you may see online, like MMA videos, or let's say calisthenics and all of that stuff. You can see a lot of that kind of stuff online, and it should also probably motivate you if you see some of that. Anyway, though, I want to just say that the workout that I do does generate a lot of strength, inner and outer, like external and internal and external. It's really a kung fu, martial arts, kung fu workout. You'll see me stretching. I work on my breathing. I work on my coordination, balance, of course. It all does take a level of strength within myself. I'm not trying to move mountains. I'm not trying to move individuals, let alone crowds of people. I'm not trying to, push or pull anyone's attention in any way, or trying to clown around, believe it or not. What I have learned in the martial arts in my life has helped me, and I've learned a lot from the different techniques and the different systems. I do prefer the word really systems as opposed to styles. See, the style part can confuse a lot of people, or rather it points towards martial arts being just that, an art. A lot of people in this world excuse me, don't realise the benefits of a lot of traditional martial arts, and my background mostly is in traditional martial arts. I've been limited in what I've been able to learn since the age of 12 when I started. Back in the early to mid-90s or whatever it was. I was born in 1982 in London, England, and like I say, a little brief background on my martial arts, just very quickly, yet again. I've gone over it before, but I'll just tell you a little bit here quickly. So I started with karate. I started out learning karate because I was getting bullied in school. I didn't have many friends or anything, and my mum took me there to learn some martial arts to kind of toughen me up. She didn't know what martial arts was or what it was about, really. It was mainly just the fact that she just wanted me to get involved with something and make a bunch of friends, hang out with the boys, and do some stuff that might toughen me up. She knew that martial arts was geared towards self-defense. My mother actually had a brother apparently who was a black belt in karate, one system of karate, I don't know which one, and he was good with the nunchucks or the nunchucks, Shuangjiegun in Mandarin Chinese, but made famous by Bruce Lee, obviously. In the Western world, a lot of the martial arts were not just for show. A lot of the ancient martial arts have been around for years and decades before the likes of Bruce Lee, this new hipster on the block kicking ass. The same as a lot of the quotes, not to take anything away from him. Word of mouth has been spread throughout the, however long you can go back, but it's like kind of thing. But Bruce Lee's words, a lot of what he says, his philosophies and his ideas, although a lot of those were his own, a lot of those were also that can be derived back from ancient texts, such as the Dao De Jing, which is one of my favourite books. It is actually my favourite book in terms of talking about real practical truth and nature in life and everything that exists is true, basically. You can see that I often quote from that. I quote Lao Tzu, the philosopher, and his philosophy of the Tao. Excuse me. I'm not religious or anything. It's not about that. It's just the concept of yin and yang, right? Which is yin and yang in Mandarin Chinese, which I do speak also, and to a degree. And that symbol you see at the start and the end of this video and other videos is basically representing that. There's two sides to everything, right? Yin and yang, the light and the dark, the hard and the soft. Male and female, front, back, top, bottom, left, right, fast, slow. Easy, hard, however you want to look at it. The only thing is, some concepts in this philosophy are kind of delusional. Like what I'm saying is, some people may get confused when they think of like right and wrong, for example, good and bad, even broken and fixed. People can have their own subjective realities, their own subjective beliefs and opinions and views on which things they really think are either broken or fixed, right or wrong, good or bad, efficient or inefficient, ugly or beautiful, all these kind of things, better or worse. It's just literally people's opinions. But in terms of the actual essence of everything, it does actually have two sides to it, regardless of our opinions. It's a bit like life and death. I mean, there are scientists and people that believe, or say that, things don't exist if we don't observe them and look at them, with our eyes. But yet to us they won't exist. But if you just leave it at that, then that's that. So we can't miss what's being said there. The real fact is that things are there. You can see a mountain or a tree, and that thing is still there. Okay. To us, yes, but also if it is still there, and we're saying if it is actually there, and it's not somehow an illusion of frequencies to us, or whatever that means in the mental and physical. If this mountain or tree or anything is actually here in existence, then then think about all of the babies or the people that have not been born into the world yet. Those people who are not here now, we can see these things, or these, regardless of if we can see them or not, they are actually here. It's kind of a deep talk, right? I'm giving you a deep talk while you're watching this. Sorry to ramble. I said I wasn't going to talk much. But I'll just keep talking and see how we go. So yeah, anyway, wow, we've come a long way down this path, beside the mountain stream. What was I saying? Okay, so back to what I was saying though. So yeah, the philosophy of yin and yang is not just a philosophy about balance. It's also the essence of balance in all things. It's physically in everything around us, basically. It really, really is. And it's in everything that is around us, basically. It's just really here, inwardly and outwardly. Anything that exists in true existence, in nature, meaning not just plants and flowers, but also the universe. Everything in the galaxy that is, everything that exists. Whatever, whether there be multiverses, heaven, hell, other realms or whatever, things we can't even imagine. Just anything that is came about by natural processes, be it a step before it or a step before that in evolution, or in cause and effect, and the cause of the cause, which is the effect which give rise to the cause, which is the cause which give rise to the effect, right? It's like the egg and the chicken. But it's like, even if that's infinity, which is a hard concept to grasp. So it's about the mind and the body, and it's like, we always say we can always improve, or you could always keep talking, but there's a limit, because once you're saying one thing, there's something else you're not saying. Once you go in one direction, you're not going in the other. But the having and the not having, the everything and the nothing, do exist. Something exists because its opposite doesn't, you see. But we can still say that the thing which doesn't exist, like the opposite of existence, right? All existence, time and space, the opposite of it is non-existence, right? And it's a true thing. It's truth. It's truly nothing. So nothing truly exists. Nothing is a true existing thing. I'm saying. This essence of there being nothing. It's a thing. It's a true. Not just a known fact, but it's a thing, right? It has to be, because even if this word nothing, okay, being the opposite of everything, if this nothing, this non-existence, if it, this void, this vacuum, if it really, really is not existing, it's the same thing, because it's the essence of nothing, right? And that we say that it's kind of philosophical, but everything we know to be true, or that can experience, is limited by our five senses and our physical and mental and physical. How can I say this? Experience slash 50-50 could be a delusion, could be an illusion. We just don't know. Okay. It may not, at least, even be as we experience it. There are insects and creatures and fish and all kinds of things in the world that experience the world very differently to us, not just in their size, but in the fact that their bodies are different. So certain things have different senses to than we do, like more or less. There are things that they don't pick up on in the world. Just like how we normally see sunlight and we don't see, the colours of the rainbow in the sun and the spectrum until it's separated via a prism or rainbow, like waterfall or whatever it might be. We don't always see things. We don't see things on the molecular level. So this is how deep it is. But the essence of yin and yang is rooted in everything, in the whole biology, the makeup of it all. The body, the what do you call it? The atoms and the cells, the photons, the neutrons, the quarks. The energy that makes up the body, and the electrons, all of it. So anyway, let's get back to what I was saying. So martial arts, right? So yin and yang is a true essence of everything. It can be represented in things like water. I mean, Bruce Lee mentioned that. A lot of his philosophies and the things he talks about, Bruce Lee, he mentioned, they came, from these books. You can find things he's saying or references similar, very, very similar, in ancient texts like those and Eastern books and texts of old. Is the true wisdom, but the true wisdom itself goes much deeper. It's beyond human thinking. A lot of times people not just have egos, but their beliefs, their minds are, I would say, the delusion is strengthened constantly, which weakens them and limits them. Human beings' minds are based on reflection, memories of reflection, and it's always reflecting. It's memories of reflections which they're playing to themselves constantly, like a video, over and over in this present, like they're looking into the reflection and they're looking into the future of what it will be. So assumptions and stuff about what the future is going to be it hopes, fears, dreams, drive, whatever it might be, sense of direction or meaning. It's all an external thing. It's coming from an idea of something beyond, something else, something which is not here. Please excuse me. It's something which is not here and something which is not now. And that is them, and that is the individual themselves and the universe, basically, or as in the world around them. So they're living in a fake, what I call it, a fake place. It's a fake concept, a fake experience, So this is what it basically is. So we're living, and I've just kind of forgotten the point I was trying to put across there. But this is the thing. See, so if you hold on 1 second. Okay, yeah. Sorry, I'm back. I just paused it to check what I was saying. Went back and checked. So I was just saying that basically the main thing is the knowledge is deeper, and it's the knowledge of the body. And when I say the body, it's the body with one of the whole universe. So the existing material, if you like, for lack of a better word at the moment on my part, is what makes up everything. Okay, there has to be this connecting energy, not just connecting like glue, but it's running through the roots of all truth. That is basically what it is when it comes to the inner and the outer. Okay, and that's how the essence of, that's what the Tao is made of, basically. That's what nature is made of, two sides to everything. So this symbol of yin and yang, this symbol, is basically in everything, not just in everything. It's not that we are in it, or it's in us, or it's separate, ahead or behind. It literally is. It is us, and we are it, when everything is one. And if it's broken into parts, then you have a problem. But it must be, you see, this is the thing, the many make the one and the one make the many, you could say. But that doesn't seem to be the case in society most of the time. That's the confusing problem. Nature's the way, the truth is the way. You have one body and one mind, they should not be separated. You do have 2 hands and 2 legs. They are all different parts of your body, like your organs, your nose, your mouth, your ears, every hair on your head even, but it's all you know what I mean? And the blood flowing through your body is separate to you, you may say, but it's not, is it? It's part of you. So every bone in your skeleton and every cell in any muscle in your body. So you can see what I'm saying. It's the leaf on the tree, the flowers and the fruits on the tree, all of it. You know what I mean? It's all basically that, So anyway, back to what I was saying. So I didn't do too well in science or maths in school when I was young. I was especially maths, but anyway. So I started out with karate when I was younger. I started with karate. Then I did kickboxing. Started to do a bit of kung fu, and I moved up and I started to do kung fu systems, which was what I really wanted to do. So I started to learn more about Chinese martial arts, and I also learned some bare hands, as well as weapons, traditional weapons training, as well as the bare hand stuff. not to carry weapons around with me. I mean, just for the the knowledge of the kung fu, the traditions, and the martial arts in general. I've been very influenced by Eastern philosophies, Chinese, Japanese, a bit of that, and martial arts. It's always helped me in life, So I grew up watching a lot of movies and stuff about martial arts, and then, I love anything martial arts related. Manga, comics, anime, Japanese cartoons, games, always around that kind of thing. But mainly it was, I wanted to, I got back into it because I had a little bit of time out from it after I did karate, but because I was getting bullied in the different schools I went to as a kid, I just basically, I went back into it because I got more interested in it anyway because of certain films and stuff I saw, but I realised it was a very serious thing, and I wanted to, learn to basically protect myself a little bit, just in case I needed to, because I'd been mugged a few times. I was absolutely timid, not the strongest person, still very, a quiet person, but I just thought that, one, I was very interested in it. I loved the heart behind it, the philosophy and the motivation was there, and the drive, and I wanted to push myself and do this thing, because I ended up working in different jobs and stuff. And I was very stressed out and very tired, even back then when I was younger, and it's been a hard journey up until now. It was very, very tiring, very, very exhausting, the things I was going through in my daily life. Mostly it ended up a lot of travelling as well, to and from work. But mentally and physically I was like being drained. So what I really needed was rest as well. So we need to balance our rest and our exercise. So also, again, yin and yang. So as what martial arts teaches us, it teaches us to be a better person. But not a better like you're going to be something different to what you are. It teaches you to respect what you have, but work with your energies to kind of maintain yourself, and if need be, push yourself to have a bit more power and energy to get through certain things with more patience. So with that calmness and strength, so that it will be there with you and carry you when, even when you're not at the best of, energies, put it that way. So I used to train, for a lot of reasons when I was younger, when I was doing the martial arts. That's before I came to China and continued some study. But even back then in England, it's always been the same thing really. It's always been giving me a drive, my mind and body, to keep me focused and strong. And from my core, my, what do we call it, soul if you want. Different types of terminology. But basically, it was interest. So I had the interest in learning this thing. Motivational type of interest too, in terms of like watching films and things like that, because I just thought it was really cool as well, But I was very interested in the thing as an art. Then you had the self-defense aspect that I knew it was useful. The more I learned about it, I knew it was definitely beneficial for anyone to learn some basic self-defense. So I liked it for that part as well. But the other thing though was it literally made me stronger. It gave me better health, so in mind and body, and that's the thing that I've kept going until now. As I said, now I'm nearly 43. My training is not the same as it used to be. I'm not training all the forms. I'm not doing so much martial arts and kung fu training. Now it's just really, really basic stretching and a little bit of exercise every day. I'll spend half an hour, maybe 1 hour. Most days I'll try to do it before I go out to work, or in the evening if I need to. I might have 1 day rest if I'm very tired. But I always push myself and keep these basics alive, and I try when I can to review specific martial arts that I've learned from the different systems I've learned over the years, to keep it a bit sharp. I never forget per se what I learned, but some of it's been a bit blurred. But as I say, I've improved as I've gone along the way in a lot of ways, but I've also declined in other ways. Or you could say it the other way, I've declined in some ways, but I've also improved in some ways. Okay? So I'm not as strong and flexible in mind and body as I used to be, yet in some areas, but in some other areas I'm stronger and more flexible than I used to be in mind and body. So with age grows wisdom, but also it's like I've been cooking this big meal for like a long time, giving it a good slow, good cook. It's like as the years go by, as long as I keep this up, like other passions of mine too, like art for example, but if I keep this going, it's keeping me stronger. You see what I'm saying? It's like always cooking a meal to keep me not hungry. You see what I'm saying? So not like a drive or like a desire for anything. I mean, it's not like I'm doing it because to prove to myself or I'm some. Yeah, I was. What I mean is, I'm not. I don't do any of this to like prove something to myself or to make myself feel good about myself where I feel bad about myself or anything. I do not have any area of me where I'm looking down on myself ever in my life, ever. There are lots of people out there who really do have so much pity in themselves or regret or whatever it is. They look down on themselves. They don't feel that they're living the full life or living up to anything. They blame themselves for many things. They live in the shadow of other people and bad memories which give them constant fear, and which often in turn sometimes give them a drive. It may be a drive in the wrong direction, also towards bad things or more self-destruction, where they're fighting a fight that is not their fight, and they're fighting themselves a lot of the time. Martial arts gives you wisdom, that is to say, living in the human body, in nature, as just like animals living on the earth, eating and drinking the right things, breathing air, but breathing in natural regulation, listening to the way of nature in your body teaches you how to live, or how basically to maintain this. This is what we have, our lives, and not to run away from it, not to run towards death, not to waste our lives on competition or trying to struggle and prove something. I've heard like sayings, and even like Buddhist monks have even said, haven't they, like about life is suffering and things like that, and there's like meaningful stories you hear in various ancient texts. Oh, let me just say, I'm just adding this bit in. I want to say here again, really, I don't believe that life is suffering. Life is more about learning to maintain your life and to fight against suffering. That's what it's really about. You accept it, that it's there, but you learn to be strong and calm about this kind of thing. It is true, and you could say, it is a fact that we have these, trials, tribulations, I don't know what you want to call them, difficulties, stressful storms that we have to face. Like the earth has hurricanes and typhoons, yes. So we face a lot of things in our lives. We come up against, if you were living in a jungle, there would be so many dangers that you may have to face in terms of the, wild animals in the jungle or insects or whatever, right? The weather, many things that we have to face in the natural world, let alone the unnatural and man-made fabricated society in big cities or wherever. And there is good and bad in both of those worlds. Basically, technology should be the mind and body working as one to use what we can of the earth, to make things, so like making a good shelter, just as people would have made shelters back, in the jungles when they used to live in ancient times or whatever, making camps, making campfires, whatever it may be, a shelter. The same thing as people moved along, making tools, all kinds of forms of art and music and all the things we create, but especially tools, and that's basically technology. So just as a bird creates its nest, which is its own form of technology, or rabbits dig a hole, which is its technology, we build skyscrapers and the internet and Wi-Fi and cameras and aeroplanes and high-speed trains. We build all of this stuff with things that came from the earth, and it wouldn't matter if you had rocks coming from the moon. Ultimately, everything that exists, if we can use it in the right way, it's an extension of us, our minds and bodies. So, you know, this is what happens. So the ingredients we put into our bodies coming from various different, you know, ingredients of the earth that we make food, different kinds of meals from. It's coming from actual food. So yeah, what we know as, you know, knowledge really should be coming from the absolute truth. If the mind is to guide the body and the body guides the mind, they are as one. The body is basically you know, often treated like this is this vehicle carrying us around, carrying a lot of people around with their ego, and they don't even know where their feet are going a lot of the time when they're walking around, you know. Not for me to say or anyone to judge anyone, you know, but a lot of people look at their body like this machine, and they live for like this code system, this for currency, you know. They're living for money, they're living for status, they want to be an important person in the eyes of others, their image. So they're living for a cause outside of themselves, based on a belief, you see. It's like someone in the jungle believing that their whole life has been put on this earth to avoid tigers because tigers don't like them, or eagles or whatever, you know. It may not be true, you know, but it's like they will hunt, and it's like the same with human beings. Certain human beings will be, you know, hostile or violent for whatever reasons. There will be all kinds of hardships that we put on each other, you know, and a lot of people are living in poverty and all kinds of things happening in the world now. We build prisons to put other humans in. You know, people have invented guns and bombs and things like this. There's a lot of things which is really not wise to be doing, and some things which are, but, you know, we find ourselves in this world with a blur of what's right and wrong, and we're trying to, you know, a lot of people are trying to find their way, but they end up confused in themselves. So these people end up at a constant end, but they don't begin. You know, this is the crazy thing. Like, but life is ongoing. Such is the flow of yin and yang, as I say. This is the concept of nature. It's always flowing. It doesn't stop. It's like running water. See, like Bruce Lee brought up again. I won't say Bruce Lee said, but Bruce Lee said when he brought it up, this thing that's already been said, and he also created things of his own too. We often say things that have been said before, thinking we've created them. And other times we do quote what's been said and people think that we created it. But ultimately he was saying one thing. He said, like many, Bruce Lee did actually say, you know, running water never grows stale, or something like that. He was talking about the essence of Tai Chi, right, which is Tai Chi in Mandarin Chinese, which is an internal art. You can sometimes see me doing specific movements here. Sometimes I do some exercises which actually come from that system. You know, I do a bit of Wing Chun, I do 5 animal kung fu, a little bit of Bagua, long fist, wushu, a bit of Tai Chi's in there as well. I've done kickboxing, as I say. I've learned sword, stick, saber, sword, long stick, double sticks, the bow staff, butterfly knives. I've learned a lot from different arts, a little bit of mantis, mainly tiger and crane, a little bit of monkey and leopard, tiny bit of monkey and mantis. So I've learned a lot of different arts along the way, looked into things like Aikido, Japanese arts and stuff like that, Taekwondo and Hapkido, Korean arts, fascinated by the arts of like the drunken art of drunken kung fu, you know, things like that, and things like ninjutsu fascinates me. But I love all the martial arts. I've always loved the martial arts, you know, and it's helped me to keep strong and focused in myself. The body's not just a machine. It's not just arms and legs moving around, muscles or a show or some proof of strength or ego, you know, confidence, a drive to, either show confidence to anyone or yourself. It's not a show, it's not a display, performance, like that. It's action. It's action and stillness is one, It's everything and nothing is as one. It's the essence of the Tao. Well, there's arts such as Tai Chi arts, which focus a lot on that because it's basically the embodiment. They used to call it the Grand Ultimate Fist, or the Grand Ultimate Way, being the embodiment of the Tao, which is Yin and Yang, as I say, of flow and nature. So basically, he said there can't be any speaking without listening, and there can't be any listening without speaking, right? When you are one with these, when you have understand them as one, like anything, you'll be able to see what they are separate as well. So when someone's talking, you'll be able to be a good listener. When someone's listening, you'll be able to be a good speaker. You'll be able to basically have action and non-action. You'll be the master of both. You see, you'll be the master of noise and the master of silence, the master of hard and soft, fast and slow, the master of timing, the master of adapting to things, the master of art itself, from the spirit, from the essence of you, whatever it is, because it's not just like looking of a tainted vision, it's coming from the true essence inside with the vision. It's like the spirit of all your being from your five senses. So, yeah. But what I was going to say is, have you eaten today? Where have you been today? And how are you living your life? Just kidding. Let's hope all your worries go away, of course. But no, let's get to the thing I want to say. Another thing, which is the training I've always done has kept me strong in going through my life, from one job to another job, for example. Moving house or dealing with difficulties. It could be family related or people related outside, dealing with difficult people that I've had to deal with, being in dangerous or kind of uncomfortable situations, It's helped me be strong. It's helped me get through the toughest of times when I've been really ill or hurt physically, in health as well, or emotionally. A lot of the time it's always been there to keep me calm, but it's been able to let me focus on some kind of strength within myself. These workouts that I do, they might not look all that fancy, look a bit silly maybe, but it's documentation for myself. I'm recording what I do, not all the time, but regularly, or now and then I'll record videos to capture some of the training that I've done so I can look back on it. I've been making videos now up until this point in 2025. We've just entered November. It's the 4th of November today. So I've been making videos for about 20 years now, literally, on my training. I've been making videos and getting footage and being artistic for much longer than that, since I was younger, I love to draw, as I say. But I also, as I say, I've been drawing, but I've been making videos since I was much younger. But I'm saying on my martial arts and uploading videos and sharing, I've been doing this for many years now, nearly half my life. And I've been training martial arts since I was just a little over 10, so I was 12 years of age. And it's always helped me. Now, the flows that I do, the training that I do now is a blended flow of the many different systems I've learned portions of to different amounts and levels. And it's helped me as a human being. All these different lessons within, each one technique or one exercise has many lessons in them, and they all help each other, and it's helped me as a martial artist as well, But you could be a martial artist, you could be someone who's a trained person who's fought in the ring even, it doesn't make a difference. Anyone off the street could come up to you and punch you in the face, and you'd be so shocked, no matter what experience you've got. Someone could stab somebody. This is quite a dangerous world out there. You could even slip down a staircase where someone's been mopping the steps. So it doesn't, it has to remind you to focus on yourself, be calm. Don't rush your workouts. Don't rush your breathing. When you sleep, sleep as calmly as possible, right? When you eat, don't rush your food. When you're going somewhere, don't run if you don't have to, you know what I mean? But when you want to get somewhere quickly, if you need that speed and energy, things have to be worked efficiently. So a lot of exercises, you do repetition. Repetition is the best thing. Practice makes, I won't say perfect, but practice makes the perfect practitioner. It gives you strength and ability, and you spend more time on it and take it slowly, and then you'll be, more fast and powerful when you need to be. So there are reactions and things. You have to train. So the exercise routines that I do are an exercise routine. But to really get good ability in self-defense, you better to train with people. And I've spent a lot of time, practicing movements and actual sparring and different ways of training with different people, and that's what really helps you to know what you actually know as a martial artist. So if my workout, doesn't impress you, that's fine. It's not supposed to. There's many good videos you can see online with people dancing or people doing backflips or whatever. But the fact is that as someone wisely once said, seeing is believing, but feeling is the truth. Actually, the truth is the truth, because seeing, is a belief, it's a perception. Even in your mind, the idea is often not the thing, So whether you're thinking about something or not, the thing itself is either existing or non-existing, right? It doesn't matter if you jump off the earth or land back on it. The earth is either going to be there or not, you know what I mean? Now, all you've got is the fibers in your body, the bones, the flesh, to look after in the moment. And if you do regular working out, it will help you throughout your life. You can't let yourself go rusty, you can't let yourself start to get stiff and that. If you do a lot of stretching, you don't have to be a contortionist or extremely flexible like a gymnast, or extremely strong like a bodybuilder, or risk yourself getting into fights, every day. You don't have to be doing it like in a ring fight or on the streets or whatever. You don't have to prove yourself to people with your fists or with your mouth, even your ideas against theirs. Proving your point to be better than somebody else's or whatever. It's not about that, It's about just living, But the more flexible and strong and calm and natural your mind is, good, right? And how about the body, So the body is the same thing with the body. The body, you should be looking after every fiber there, all of the tendons, everything you see. It prepares you for martial arts. Like I said, when you practice like slow movements as well, by the way, or when you hold a position, it can make you stronger for when you do a move very fast. Or if you train it many, many times, then you do that one technique once, you'll be very efficient by not only muscle memory, but it's also the generation, the way it's done, Well, and what I'm going to say is doing exercise will prevent you from having injuries so easily as well. It will make you just be able to maintain a better body, a better physique, that you will not tear, pull a muscle or whatever as easily, or burn yourself out or harm yourself. You do just have one body, and you should be looking after it and trying to avoid getting it harmed, staying out of harm's way. The best block, the best defense is to not be there, right? Prevention is better than cure. So try to avoid getting into battles or dangerous situations in the first place. So we say martial arts is for health and self-defense, right? But it's all self-defense. You're protecting yourself from any outside dangers. It could be diseases, it could be internal fears as well, so psychological mind instabilities, whatever, as well as fists coming to punch you or feet coming to kick you, knives or swords coming to attack you in any generation. And fair enough, in the Matrix movie, when Neo did ask Morpheus about, when he basically said to him, when Morpheus said he was, he's faster than this, he should be faster or whatever. Don't think you are, know you are. And, he says it, and he said basically, you need to be faster than this, you're faster than this, what are you waiting for? Okay. And Neo said to Morpheus in the movie, in the dojo fight scene, if you remember, classic, iconic, brilliant movie, I love both 1 and 2, but let's just say 1 was my favourite. But Neo said, what are you saying? I can dodge bullets? He said, no, Neo. He said, no. He said, what I'm saying is you won't, when you're ready, you won't have to. So that's what it's about. It's about being early so you don't need to run for the bus. But if you're early to yourself, then you may not even need to get out of bed. You can just stay in bed, because if you know what's right for you, you deserve, as in physically, not just your confused mind, but you physically, in mind and body, need, not just desire, but need and want and knowingly need more rest. And you don't need to go to a place which is going to abuse you and be around people which are going to basically torture you or bring you down. You will always go to the place which is bringing you betterance for yourself. I mean, there are doctors and people in hospitals which will tell you, if you're sick or injured, that you need to get more rest before you can do anything else, whatever it may be it physical work which you don't want to be doing, or mental, or the same for the mind. It can be your eyes, looking at a bright screen all day. You might want to rest your eyes and keep a bit of distance for a moment from that as well. Same with the play. If you're a basketball player and you want to play basketball every day, real professional or something really good, if you've got an injury and you're just not fully healed, you're not in a perfect shape, put it that way, the doctor may still advise you, look, you might think you're kind of okay, but this is it, you've got to do the right thing. Don't run at the last minute to try to catch the traffic lights, because a car could hit you. Don't just look in one direction and don't look like for the traffic on both sides. You need to see. They say, it's an old saying which goes, don't jump when you want to know how deep the water is. Don't jump in with both feet to test it, because you might lose it all. Right? Always save some safety for yourself. Test it with 1 foot first. They also say, to know the road ahead, ask those coming back. I love these proverbs, these old proverbs. But the thing is with that, who is the one coming back? This is the thing. Oftentimes the thing is, the true teacher is the self, okay? The best teacher. He doesn't know all the knowledge. The best teacher doesn't know all the knowledge, right? That's the thing. And the idea that status and titles is an illusion. Okay, it's really just your fibre in your body, the flesh, the cells, the blood, the bones, the atoms. I'm going to the smallest, the photons, the quarks, which make up the Planck energy. One of the smallest building blocks that we know of, that make up all of existence in the universe. So when you look at someone like that, and that's what they're made of, which makes their bones and blood, and flesh and hair, there is no competition there. There is nothing to be competed with. We are all just living here under the stars, on different parts of this earth. And if we were on Mars, we wouldn't make it. If we were on another planet like Jupiter, we wouldn't make it. Just as we are. For us to make better technology and tools, better mirrors, windows and doors of the house that we live in, which is modern technology and modern society, different to, let's say, a mud hut or whatever, then we need to be able to understand ourselves better. Because there are some people that have lived in mud huts who are, they may not have all of the information or the money or technology and materials at hand, or even support, but they may have some sanity inside, more clarity inside. In this world there are rich people with lots of support, lots of lots of essential things, lots of materials and things, resources is the word I'm looking for, resources at hand, okay? Some that still don't, and vice versa for the poor people. But I'm saying there's people that have, knowledge, but they don't have the brain power. They don't have the intelligence or the experience. They've got the confidence and the ego, but they're lacking something else, you see. Or they don't have the means to do it in some way. See, they have the resources, but they don't have the means. And there's both sides within those rich people, those ones, and then the other poor people, or the people that just have mud huts and nothing but their two hands, no support, nothing. Some of these people have intelligence and they have peace within themselves, so they don't go fighting, they don't have complex battle-driven minds. Whereas there are other ones that do have a battle-driven mind, and you may say, well, they're intelligent because they want to improve their lives, so they'll go into conflicts, and try and do a lot of things to better their lives. But when you're in a hurry, you sometimes leave your intelligence behind, like a real clever man who carried 1,000 books with him, and broke his back. You know what I mean? This is what I'm trying to say. He exhausted himself. Someone who's talking so much, more than me even, and they lose their voice and damage their throat, this kind of thing. The one who, always listened, memorized, and we can't even say that he didn't learn anything. Maybe he learned a lot from what they said, but he didn't learn a lot about himself. He was told he could do, but he reflected more on what those people said, he or she, rather than finding how different or similar that stuff really is to him, and why it would even matter. It doesn't matter how you get to the shore of the island or how you get off the island onto the boat. Right? You may use a rope or an anchor or some kind of stick to climb across, like a ladder, whatever it is, with help or by yourself. But the fact is, it's just as simple as that. You've got an island and a boat and an ocean and the sky above. Things should be clear. He wanted a burger, he had one apple and a banana, You know what I mean? He wanted strawberry milkshake, but he just had water. You know what I mean? But there's other times when people don't see the beauty and the craftsmanship or the artistry of things too in life. They don't see what could actually be very it would give a lot of meaning to their lives too, make it more of an enjoyable, interesting experience. So let's look at what I'm doing here on the screen before I bore anybody to sleep or wake you up from your pleasant dream with the sound of my echoing voice. So here we can see I'm stretching my legs out. Okay, I do this every day as well. Side stretches where I'm currently now. Really working the balance there, so I'm not holding on to a wall or anything. I'm just literally just trying to stretch out and do it, and just do those stretches. And this prepares me for fast, powerful side kicks. but I'm not as flexible as I once was. Some of these flows here, I'm just flowing the energy naturally. I get these fidgets with my right foot, kind of like an uncomfortable sort of feeling, a bit of an OCD kind of habit, where I have to like get myself in a certain position before I can stand right, and dip down into that rooted stance. So doing the stretches off that leg now, the kicks, they're not fast kicks, they're just stretches to prepare. Okay. It's crazy watching these back. It's quite funny because I've actually suffered recently from some injury, and I'm just looking and wondering how I may have done it, I'm just like, the last couple of days I've been resting my body, and I still need to wait a couple more days, I think. I don't know how long, just waiting for my body to heal itself from this injury that I've suffered from in my right hip area, around the front and back of that, to my lower back, and my on the right side of my belly kind of thing. It's been very painful, and I'm just waiting for that to heal up, Like an internal injury, definitely. I've done something. I can't see any, bruising or marks on the outside, but yeah, this one here. Oh, hold on. What am I doing? Let's look. So, breathing techniques, various hand techniques. It's my own ways of training and moving, which have came, from different martial arts systems. Mostly Kung Fu arts, You see I do a lot of flowing hand techniques, open palms, moving around, yeah. And also, you will see me doing some, punches, of course, fist movements too, Yeah, we're sure doing it. I'm just drinking this coffee here. This is seriously a good workout that I do every day, most days, and it keeps me in good shape, really. It really, really does. In fact, while I'm here, I might read some of the Tao Te Ching to you, the book, while I'm here. It's just some quotes from it. Let me have a look on my phone while I'm here, and you can listen while you're watching me train. Hopefully this will inspire or educate in some ways, maybe, people out there who would like to do a little bit of exercise and martial arts. And if you have any questions, you can ask me. You can watch different videos, but the main thing is, as I say, you can learn, from good teachers out there, people that really know a lot. I know very little from what I've learned in my life, but it's helped me a lot, and I've just got my way of training these days, and it's helped me a lot. I love to share, and I have taught people some of what I know, but I can only teach what I know, and also share what I know about living my way. I can't even teach anyone how to live my way, because you're not me. And the life will never leave you, and it cannot transcend over. You can put water into a cup, yes, but the water doesn't really become the cup. It becomes an imitated shape of the cup. Do you know what I mean? It's just how it is, You've got the outside and the inside, so you've got the light and the dark, right? Yin and yang, and that's what makes it. I'm the perfect me. You should be the perfect you, right? That's what it basically is. So this is what it is with yin and yang. There's two sides to everything, and I forgot what I was going to say, but that's the basic thing. It's one, That's what makes things the way they are. So they it's what allows things to exist. See. See, one side don't exist, the other side can't. That's what we're saying in the philosophy too. And also, you know, if yin was to kill yang, then there'd be no yin. So if yang was to kill yin, there'd be no yang. So there has to be two sides, always two sides to it. And we learn that this is one. And we learn that there is 1 and 0. That's the true yin and yang. See, it's the true everything. We have everything as one truth, one nature. So that's the Tao, as it basically is. All of these different things, the different colours, or the different parts of your body, or the different flowers, trees, different people in the world, this makes it what it is. It's all part of it. But it's also like an illusion. It's like a beautiful dream to us people, see? But you shouldn't be trying to break things up. You shouldn't be throwing your mind away, you know, chopping your arms and legs off. No. It's all part of the one body, the one family, see? Like all these stars, and you've got the sun. So when I talk like this, you're like, what's he talking about? So it's like 1, 2, 3, right? There must be 2 if there's 3. Must be 1. There must be 1. You know what I'm saying? The 1 in the many, the many in the 1. Inside, outside, you know, above and below. See? So let me read a little bit of this Tao Te Ching while you're watching the video, because Lao Tzu said it better than me in less words too. But the best words are no words. You know, when you have space, when there's no wall, nothing stopping your way, you know, you're free. You know, there's when you hold nothing in your mind can learn. So when there's no sound, you can hear. When there's nothing covering your eyes, you can see. And when you're holding nothing in your hands can hold everything. There's the power in your hands again. And you know, you have to have your feet for the path. There must be, you know, your feet for the path and the path for the feet. You know what I'm saying? But you can't make it if it's not already you. The things you want, it's not you, so you already have it. If it's not you, if it's far away from you, if it's outside, then it will never be you. The things which are you are here. See what I'm saying? The things which are true. That's why the apple grows on apple tree. See what I'm saying? Not your books about computers growing on trees. You know what I'm saying? You might have an orange on an orange tree, maybe, right? But people don't know what they want. They're just talking too much. And they're looking at what other people have got. Not really understanding what their stomach, you know, what their organs need in their body. So let me just read this Tao Te Ching for you now. Let's have a look. Okay. So Lao Tzu wrote this book, the Tao Te Ching, as I say. We're going to have a little look at some parts. I'm just going to read a little bit to you, and we'll read this again in the future, the whole book. Yeah. Okay, so let's look together. So there's one thing here. Let's have a look. It says, do not glorify military. Let me have a look at this one. Okay, so Lao Tzu said, let's turn this down for a second. Lao Tzu said, do not glorify military victories. Sorry, victories. Okay. The Tao has always been nameless and simple, though humble. Still, if kings and barons would follow the Tao steadfastly, it is never subservient to anyone under heaven. All the living things on earth would benefit and pay them homage. It is the interaction of heaven and earth that brings rain to all the living things. Heaven and earth are not at the command of anyone, yet all living things benefit from their actions. Hold on. Humans, since the beginning of time, have established all kinds of traditions and have named names. Should they then not know to stop those who seek? So those who know when to stop know no death. Just as the rivers and valleys bring water to the sea, so the Tao brings all living things to the ultimate. Whew, that's beautiful. I think it's from what we can get from that, at least. And this again goes back to your life, and goes back to exercise, like I'm doing in this video here. See, let's look at one more. Look at another one. Try to read slowly for you. Let's have a look. Okay, knowing one's true needs. Okay, Lao Tzu said, knowing one's true needs. When things under heaven follow the Tao, horses will roam freely, and their droppings will be found anywhere. When things under heaven have departed from the Tao, the horses will be reared in special stables away from the city. No wrong is greater than having objects to crave for. No disaster is greater than not knowing one's true needs. No greater ill is invited than by craving to possess. Thus, the satisfaction from knowing one's true needs and not asking for more is eternal. Yeah, that's basically it, you know. You know what I mean? A lot of things we want, a lot of the things that people want in life, we didn't have them when we was a baby. You know, we didn't have them in the beginning. And the reason we have them is through different ways of thinking. You know, we've layered upon layer upon layer upon layer of ideas of things that and we've strengthened that belief too, that we need such things. But to really know what you really need is a thing, you know, is a basic thing. We should know. Now you might say a young child or a baby doesn't need a car, right? Or that caravan or whatever it might be. It's a car, right? Of course, you know, yeah. Because it wouldn't be driving, right? But again, I think it's not really the thing, though. It's like a computer or a machine. No, it's like those things are not the problem. The technology that we can benefit from, creativity that is a gift that we give out, you know, from ourselves. We give the gift of being able to create, having an intelligent mind and body. It's not that these inventions do exist or we bring them about. It's actually just an extension of what's already here. We're using what's already here, and it's an extension. It's a practice and finding it's a studying what you practice and practicing what you study of your very being, your living essence. And ultimately, you know, the when you desire, when you want, it's not necessarily that you want something, you know, the thing you want. It's the idea, it's the origin of your want, your desire. You need to study the origins of your desires. That's what you need to study. People often remember what they have gained or what they have lost or what they have strived to get and either succeeded or failed or had it taken from them, or that it seems like ongoing and they fear for the future with the same kind of pattern that's probably going to happen. You know, they're kind of lost in that maze that they believe is the world, not realizing that it was built by people just like them, and they continue to sweep the floor and polish the walls of this maze, keeping the creators of such mazes in power. You see, honesty and truth is the only way. if they were to come back to that, if they were to come back to their original state of peace, sorry, not status, I mean state of inner peace, which is always here, and behave more like a human, without forced behaviour and acting upon nature, without decorating the tree and calling it a Christmas tree per se, without creating a flag and saying it stands for something, symbols, all this stuff, slogans, all kinds of fake things. If we can say that life itself and the beauty, the truth and the power in nature and everything that we have that come from this universe to give us this life and the things we can benefit from, which are our roots and what we come from, and we are the root, if we can learn about that and what's real, then we'll be free. And when you're free, you've not wasted any of your power, and you've not sacrificed any of your potential. You won't be trying to be, struggling and forcing yourself, trying to be patient, forgiving, loving, kind, brave, remembering, forgetting, accepting, any of those things. You won't be any of those. There'll be no struggle there. You'll just naturally be alive. And I'm not saying that you're going to exist just like this mindless pile of atoms that form a lump of jelly just to be placed in the fridge by someone. I'm saying that you are literally going to have more meaning. You should have as much meaning in your mind as there is in your body, which is ever living, ever trying to overcome sickness, illness and injury by trying to heal itself, sweating when it's hot, shivering when it's cold, understanding pain, understanding comfortable feelings, hunger and thirst. It's knowing it. And if you're aware of balance and you can drive a car, ride a bike, or walk down the street even and breathe and understand when you're chewing some food, if it's hard or soft, if you're aware of certain things and you stop burning your eyes trying to look so hard for things or listen so hard with your ears, things should come to you like easily. Light to your eyes, sound to your ears, air into your lungs. You shouldn't be rushing and exerting yourself. Exercise well, live well. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Train hard and stay safe.